I thank Almighty God for this opportunity. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. At the very outset, I am deeply honored to stand here this morning to deliver my maiden speech as a member of 14th Nagaland Legislative Assembly. Thank you once again, Honorable Speaker, sir, for giving me this privilege to share my thoughts in this august house. The matter I wish to share today is regarding deduction of goods and service tax in Nagaland. That is GST. Background of GST. GST was introduced and implemented by the Government of India along with the states and union territories in July 2017. Since then, the motto of one nation, one tax has been achieved as GST has replaced multiple taxes, removed from cascading effect of tax on tax. For Nagaland, GST is the backbone of the state revenue and a major source of income. Every individual contributes to it, whether a student buying a product or a household making purchases. Nagaland has a potential to develop industries in food packaging, such as pickles, juice, and biofuels. This will not only make us self-reliant, but also create employment opportunities and increase GST revenue through export to other states and countries. Revenue collection. We have seen sharp difference between the earlier VAT collection and the present GST collection. This has increased significantly in recent times. Nagaland goods and service tax revenue recorded a remarkable rise from 104% year-on-year growth in June 2025, following growth of 43% in April and 44% in May 2025. The State Tax Department attribute this surge to internal reforms, skill development, enhanced enforcement measures, and improved compliance by the business community. The scope for enhancing new area of revenue for the state. In my opinion, we can further enhance revenue collection by implementing and creating awareness in the following areas. Number one, GST on commercial rent is at 10%. Very few people in Nagaland are aware that a 10% GST is applicable on commercial rent. By encouraging proper compliance, the state revenue can increase significantly. Number two, GST on sand and stone chips. That is also 5%. In most cases, GST invoices are not issued for sand and stone chips. Ensuring billing and compliance in the sector can boost the revenue. Number three, unauthorized transporter. Since checking should be enforced to transporters who brings goods without proper documentation, as this leads to leakage of state revenue. Now, need of the hour for amendment of GST law. GST was introduced in 2017, and since then, there have been no major changes in it, structure. I would like to highlight a few areas where amendments are necessary. Beginning limit for unregistered person. An unregistered person is one who can carry out business without obtaining a GST registration in Nagaland. The current threshold is rupees 20 lakhs for goods and rupees 10 lakhs for services. These limits were fixed in 2017 and have not been revised since. Now we are in 2025. If we take near about considering an average inflation of 8 to 10% annually, the limit should now be almost double. That is 40 lakhs for goods and 20 lakhs for services. So I would suggest this revision is crucial to support young and first generation entrepreneurs in our state. GST on government departments. The government departments are also under the purview of GST, either directly or indirectly. Departments are required to deduct 2% TDS, 1% CGST, and 1% SGST on work and supply order, about 2.5 lakhs. Now, in this regard, the concerned TDOs must ensure that GST R7 monthly TDS return is filed on time, so that supplier and contractor do not face unnecessary difficulties. However, many departments insist on a tax clearance certificate, that is TCC, without uploading the first 2% TDS, which is not liable. Because once the tax is paid and the TCC is obtained, the unreported 2% deduction effectively block the working capital of the firm, which can only be usable in the next filing. Therefore, TDO must ensure that DDS returns are filed promptly before demanding TCC from contractor. Likewise, there is a circular, office memorandum from the Finance Department that is dated 27 June 2023. We can just reflect to the number 4. That is a on receipt of the payment of the concerned taxpayer shall file the return of GST 1 and GST 3B and payment of GST amount especially on or before 11 and 20 respectively of the following month. So here is clearly mentioned that department has to file the DDS, GST R7 in every first week of the month, so that the contractor will file the GST R3B promptly after getting the TDS 2% of the uploaded by the department. So what is going on? That means money department by TDS 2% upload no korigena direct TCC clearance service mangile to TDS 2% na haligena tai kinaga 18% to haliwo. So there's a system that to 2% na halile tai 18% direct hali dibo. Halile another 22% kate rakhi ase to tate pura aro next day TDS to 2% to aro diban pura halibo abona hala bhaste aro another 20% to abona return dibo. But the block is 2% to ate portal de thaki jabo. So for the first timers nole down amount dole capital block hoy jay. Idu pura my request is that, as per the Finance Department Office Memorandum of 2023, every first week of the month, Morambra TDO Hanbra, instruct Kurigana, GST on time to file Grubalagi, so that the contractor or supplier or whoever give the GST filing Gura Hando, took Nabagana Dan Halio Barabo. On the other hand, Texas Department, Kano assessment Gure. To assessment Gurande, it doesn't tally. Because one department has put after 3-4 months. The Texas Department you go for assessment. So it doesn't tally. So then the Texas Department, our contractor or supplier who pay the tax, all of Kotado Nimilija. Idobra Texas Department lote, Ido contracted no hobo nimite, Ido Gula policy. Lastly, with the June GST collection figure, we can see commendable effort of the officers of the Texas Department. I wish them continued success in future. And one suggestion for GST grievances retrieval be takobolo bonase. There is a GST committee in national level. In national level, there is a committee for GST. So why not we also have GST committee to see the retrieval of the taxpayers' grievances? I would suggest that government of Nagaland to form a GST grievances retrieval committee comprising of government representative and trade bodies and practitioners and professionals. Will put a good text so that no loophole will be there. We should coordinate with the business community also, so that you don't get chances to escape. And since the committee is there, comprising from the Texas Department, smoothly it can go. So we'll get the tax to a higher hojabo. Because this time we have seen a very good growth in Texas Department. So on my own behalf, personally, I congratulate the Texas Department. Thank you.
Speaker, sir. I am grateful to the Honorable Minister, Mr. Pongshi, MLA, who have brought this very important topic in this zero hour on reduction of GST in Nagaland. Sir, as we are all aware, GST was introduced in our country only in 2017. And it is a very new thing for us, so there were a lot of confusions. But things are settling down and it's getting better and better. And I appreciate the comments and the understanding of our Honorable MLA, who was a Class 1 contractor, and he knows and he's concerned for the GST payers. It is one of our main resource of the state. All major decisions on GST are taken in the GST Council, which is chaired by the Union Minister and the representative of the state. And I, as a Finance Minister, I should be there, because the GST Council meeting is scheduled on 3rd and 4th September. That is tomorrow and day after. And Union Minister personally telephoned to me, but I could not go. But in my absence, I had given KG Kenny, our State Minister, to represent me. So that's why KG Kenny had gone today to attend this very important meeting. And there are going to be very good decisions in bringing down some GST rates, particularly for the public, general public, and also the consumer. I hope I'm right and we'll see good news. Sir, the State Tax Department has been working vigorously over the past several months to improve revenue collection. This includes plugging loopholes, net cost revenue leakage, expanding market coverages, raising awareness and making revenue optional, optimization and collection efforts and mass movement. While revenue from the market is growing, a large portion of GST collection still comes under government's work contract. And it is growing in a large proportion. Therefore, preventing leakage in this area is one of the main government's top agenda. Two mechanisms play a critical role in this collection: tax deduction at source and tax clearance certificate. Together, they will help curb tax evasion, expansion and tax base, and ensure that the government receives its rightful revenue collection. TDS means that 2% of the contractor's or supplier's bill is deducted by the concerned department before releasing payment. Drawing and disbursement officers must then deposit this tax and fill form of GSTR-7 by the 10th of the following month. Filling these returns is vital because it creates an audit trail that shows which contractors were awarded and what payment were received. Once the return is filed, the deducted TDS becomes available to the contractor to pay his output tax liabilities. However, when DDAs fail to file returns, it opens the door for revenue loss. Similarly, the TCC is equally important. It ensures that contractors and suppliers pay a GST due before they receive full payment from the government and also protect the interests of the contractors and supplier. A TCC certifies that GST against invoices has been paid. After obtaining it, contractors can present it to the concerned department to reclaim both the GST component and the additional 2% withheld. Departments are legally bound to release this amount once a valid TCC is produced. Compliance with TDS and TCC rules not only secures government revenue, but also protects the interests of the contractors and suppliers. Unfortunately, recent studies by the State Tax Department have revealed lapses in department and DDOs leading to revenue leakages. My government will take corrective measures to address these issues. If any contractor or supplier face non-reimbursement of withheld GST component and a 2% security deposit by the concerned department, despite having a valid TCC, this must be reported to the matter the matter to the authorities. I urge all stakeholders to bring forward specific details and actionable complaints rather than making general allegations. This, which do little to improve system. The tax department is making sincere efforts to minimize revenue for the state. I appeal to the public support for efforts and make it a people's movement. Simple steps can make a big difference. Always demand proper GST bills, prefer digital payments to creation transaction trials, and report tax evasion or malpractices to the department, including through our social media. As suggested by the honorable member, we have to facilitate and build an ecosystem for the young and first, second generations who have joined into business, so that they will take interest and it become flawless. I also assure the honorable member, the GST grievances committee representing the business community, the government and the experts to resolve all issues. Optimizing tax revenue is the first step towards self-reliance and towards securing better fund devolution for our resources. Nagaland, fortunately, we are exempted from property tax, income tax. But in the business, who are doing business, they have to pay this GST tax. Paying tax is new, therefore it takes time. But we should make a habit, because no government can survive without revenue collections as tax or as payment for what you get. So I hope the people of the state will be more careful and pay our GST taxes, so that our state, with more revenue received, can take more development. Thank you.